The U.S. Supreme Court has recently delivered a ruling on birthright citizenship that reverberates deeply through the political landscape. This decision, while seemingly a confirmation of long-standing constitutional principles, carries significant weight, particularly for those advocating for changes to current immigration laws. For former President Donald Trump, who has consistently championed a reinterpretation or abolition of birthright citizenship, the court's stance represents a considerable setback. It reaffirms the legal foundation he sought to challenge, effectively closing a significant avenue for his proposed policy alterations. At the heart of this ruling is the 14th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. Ratified in 1868 in the aftermath of the Civil War, its first sentence establishes the foundation of birthright citizenship. This clause has been the bedrock, ensuring that nearly everyone born on American soil is automatically a U.S. citizen, regardless of their parents' legal status, a principle now reaffirmed by the highest court. Donald Trump has long been a vocal critic of birthright citizenship as currently interpreted. Throughout his political career, both as a candidate and as president, he repeatedly called for an end to what he termed anchor babies and suggested that the president could unilaterally alter this constitutional provision through executive action. His arguments centered on the idea that the subject to the jurisdiction thereof clause was misinterpreted, claiming it was never intended to apply to children of undocumented immigrants. While Trump asserted presidential power, the legal precedent for birthright citizenship is strong and has been affirmed by the Supreme Court itself. The landmark case, United States v. Wong Kim Ark, explicitly ruled that a child born in the U.S. to parents who were not citizens, but were residents and subject to U.S. jurisdiction, was a U.S. citizen. This ruling established a clear interpretation of the 14th Amendment that has stood for over a century, resisting numerous challenges and firmly embedding birthright citizenship in American law, a foundation now further cemented. The recent Supreme Court ruling therefore constitutes a significant blow to Trump's political agenda and his vision for immigration reform. By upholding the traditional interpretation of the 14th Amendment, the court has effectively shut down the primary legal pathway he and his allies envisioned for ending birthright citizenship. This decision removes a potent talking point and a concrete policy goal that rallied his base, forcing proponents of change to confront the immense difficulty of amending the Constitution itself, a far more arduous political process than an executive order. This ruling will undoubtedly shape future political discourse, especially leading into upcoming election cycles. Trump's supporters may view this as a further example of the judiciary impeding his populist agenda, potentially galvanizing his base. However, for those who oppose his immigration stance, the decision provides a definitive legal victory, reinforcing the stability of constitutional principles. It shifts the battleground from legal challenges to potentially pushing for a constitutional amendment, a move with monumental political hurdles. The court's decision, while definitive on the current legal interpretation, does not entirely extinguish the debate surrounding birthright citizenship. It simply clarifies the existing constitutional framework, underscoring that any fundamental change would require a formal amendment, a process necessitating broad bipartisan consensus, which is currently elusive. The ruling highlights the deep ideological chasm within American society on immigration, pushing the conversation back into the legislative arena for any significant policy shift, rather than allowing for executive unilateralism. While specific reactions from Donald Trump to such a ruling would be anticipated to be sharply critical, perhaps framing it as judicial overreach or a perpetuation of what he considers flawed policy, the core impact remains. The legal avenue he championed for ending birthright citizenship through executive action is now definitively blocked by the highest court. This forces his future campaigns or administration to find alternative strategies if they wish to pursue such a profound change, making the issue a far more difficult and protracted fight. Beyond the specific issue of birthright citizenship, this Supreme Court ruling also serves as a broader affirmation of the limits of presidential power when it comes to fundamentally altering constitutional provisions. Trump's contention that a president could simply declare an end to birthright citizenship through an executive order was a significant challenge to the separation of powers. The court's decision reinforces the judiciary's role in interpreting the Constitution, drawing a clear line where executive authority cannot unilaterally rewrite established legal frameworks. In conclusion, the Supreme Court's ruling on birthright citizenship stands as a landmark decision. It not only solidifies a cornerstone of American identity and law but also delivers a significant blow to a key policy objective of former President Donald Trump. While the political debate around immigration will undoubtedly continue, the court has drawn a firm boundary, indicating that any radical alteration to birthright citizenship must navigate the challenging path of constitutional amendment, rather than executive decree. This reinforces the enduring nature of foundational American legal principles.